Rarely in a murder trial do you have the kind of evidence you're about to see. A killing captured on 6 seconds of videotape. No one who witnessed it could believe their eyes, nor would they be able to forget it. But would the videotape send a man to prison or help him get away with murder? We warn you, some of the video you're about to see is graphic and hard to watch. A professional photographer haunted by the image he captured on camera.
You go on these stories and you gotta wonder, it's gonna happen again?
The tragic story begins Thanksgiving morning, 1992, in a little house in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. A 15-year-old girl named Yolanda Nunez commits suicide with her mother's gun. In a note, she writes that she is pregnant and knows if her mother ever found out about it, she would not approve. The suicide intensifies a deep hatred between Emilio, the teen's father, and Maritza Martin, her mother. Emilio blames Maritza for Yolandra's suicide and wants to have her charged with the young girl's death. But when he learns the police closed the case and no charges are filed, he's furious and turns to the press, hoping they'll listen to his story. Ingrid Cruz, a reporter for Telemundo, picks up the story. Telemundo's the Spanish TV station that wasn't then but is now owned by NBC. Cruz interviews Emilio and then takes him to his daughter's gravesite. George Delgado is the cameraman.
He was pissed. He was very angry towards his ex-wife.
Once in the cemetery, Delgado starts filming as Emilio lays flowers on the grave. But then the woman he's been blaming for his daughter's suicide shows up. The television crew runs to talk to her. Reporter Ingrid Cruz starts questioning the former wife, who seems reluctant to get out of the car. After a few moments, she steps out. George Delgado continues to tape.
And Ingrid started walking with her, so I went to go get a nice two-shot.
What the cameraman would see through his lens next would change their lives forever. Barging into the frame, Emilio pulls a gun and shoots his former wife at point-blank range. Then he pumps 10 more bullets as she lies in the fetal position on the ground.
And it's just amazing. I mean, the guy's driving the damn bullets into her, going around her in circles. And then he runs to the car, which just happened to be in the same direction we were at, which wasn't too comfortable because first thing in my mind is he went to get another clip.
But Emilio drives off, and George would utter a line that would later be called into question.
In the car, I got her. Oh my God, man. She's dead. She's dead.
George, in his own truck, his camera still rolling, calls 911.
Please, send me units, emergency. Gun just shot a woman, possibly coming after us. He's psychotic, man.
Fair warning now, we're about to show you some very graphic videotape.
Within hours, the 12 gunshots echo from television screens across the nation. Emilio Nunez is caught and arrested in Texas 2 days later. But there would be 7 years of legal delays before the case ever makes it to a courtroom. 7 years for George to think about what happened in front of him that day.
You know, it's just like why. We've all done stories. You know, they're sentimental, they're sad. Somebody's death is involved, this or that. But nobody has a right to do what he did.
Despite the fact that many in the country had seen the shooting, Emilio pleads not guilty to the first-degree murder of his ex-wife. And what would seem like such a clear-cut case with the crime caught on camera would turn out to be much more complicated.
He was driven to a mental state that caused him to snap.
Defense attorney Riamberto Diaz would go after the Telemundo crew, accusing them of manipulating Emilio until he lost control, until he was no longer responsible for his actions.
They were not fully aware of who they were dealing with, and they should have been. This was a troubled man.
The defense plays for the jury the same videotape the prosecution says incriminates Emilio. The defense says it should exonerate him. They showed the build-up to the killing, the interview that day that gets Emilio riled up, then the TV crew's confrontation with Emilio's ex-wife.
Once they realized she was there, they didn't miss a beat in pursuing the situation.
They showed the reporter knocking on Maritza's rolled-up side window on one hand while keeping Emilio at bay with the other, heating up the situation. Maritza stepping angrily out of the car. Seconds later, who is to blame?
Nobody put a gun to this man's head and said, shoot her. Unfortunately, I got her last couple minutes of life on tape.
But the defense claims that what George says after the murder supports their claim the television crew was after a big scoop. Delgado says what he meant by that line had nothing to do with getting a story.
I got a guy murdering his wife, okay? There's no better evidence than that. You got his face. You got him and what he looks like all on tape. And you got the murder.
After hearing both sides, the jury finds Emilio Nunez guilty in the first-degree murder of his ex-wife. The judge sentences him to a minimum of 25 years in prison.
You have just destroyed my life.
No, sir. You destroyed your life.
The case is over, but not for George Delgado. It all happened so quickly, within seconds. But he says he doesn't know when or if he'll be able to stop replaying in his mind those few frantic moments of the crime he caught on camera.
I would never in my life imagine what happened that day happened. And I swear I hope it happens to nobody else. Because it doesn't end that day.